everything in this world that a man wants. Got a bank account bigger than a law shooter.
Hi everybody, Marilyn Monroe. I wanted to share with you all a message that I got from God on wholeness. And right now in my journey, I'm working on wholeness. So you are getting like a front seat live and center of the process that I'm actually going through right now in my life. So first, I wanted to tell you all how I come up with the topics for my meditations and for my blogs. I have a blog on WordPress.com. It's Melanin Monroe, but my name is Love Your Neighbor 24/7, and I'm going to put that down in the bottom in the description of this video. So if you want to check it out, please feel free. So in order to come up with the topics for my blogs and for my videos and my journal entries, I ask myself, why do I feel this way? A lot of times I write when I'm going through stuff. Kind of like a songwriter, you know, they write the best songs when they're going through things. And that's how it is for me. I do poetry too, but for a few years it's been kind of hard for me to do poetry, and it's easier for me to find other ways to express myself, and it's kind of liberating. I'm learning how to do new things like these videos. I never really got into that, so I'm doing it now, and it's fun and I enjoy it. So I asked myself, why do I feel this way? So with wholeness, in the beginning of 2016, I graduated with my first college degree, and I was really excited about that because I've been on the 10-year plan. I couldn't afford to go all the way through school the first time. And then I had babies, so I had different things here and there happen in between. And I had the opportunity to go back to school, and I just graduated in January. So 3 days after I graduated is when I met my twin. And you can go watch the video on how I met my twin if you want. And that was amazing. I was so excited after meeting my twin, because I wasn't expecting to meet my twin at that time. I wasn't expecting to meet anybody, let alone somebody that I actually did like. Then I got a whole bunch of scholarships, so I was super excited about that. I was posting on my Facebook about how excited I was that God was giving me all these blessings. And a few weeks later, I had got my dream job, like out of nowhere. I hadn't even applied for it. They found my resume through the school, through the college that I attended. They found my resume through the website, and it was perfect. Like, my supervisor is a Christian. Like, she's awesome. She's an amazing attorney, and I am an aspiring attorney myself, so this was just the perfect job. About 9 years ago, I worked in a law office, and it didn't quite work out. So I've been waiting ever since 9 years ago to have this position, and now I finally have it. And it seems like I have everything that I want, because I have my degree, you know, I have my 2 beautiful children that I love. Like, it just seems like everything should be popping, but I still feel empty. So immediately, naturally, I get upset with my twin, because right now we're in like the separation stage, and I'm like, you know, it would all be easier if I could just talk to him like I normally did and just vent and tell him how my day was, or if I could just go see him, or if I could just go cuddle with him and hug him, if we could just spend time together. Like, I wouldn't even be worried about all the stuff that I stress about in my life. But there is a lesson to be learned, so I have to go through all the trials so that I can learn the lesson. And through all this, I've learned, because my twin has separated from me, it has made me go inward and try to find solutions that I can do for myself, because obviously it's not healthy to be in a codependent relationship when you depend on someone else to make you happy. And early in my relationship with my twin, I told him, I need you to be my escape from reality. I don't even know why I said it. I mean, I really did. I meant it. And his response was no. And I was like, no. And he was like, no, I will not be your escape. And I was frustrated at the time because I didn't understand. But now, in retrospect, I totally understand why he says it, because that is so unhealthy. And I'm so glad that he said no. And one of my other videos, I talk about a soulmate relationship that I had where I did use that other person as a drug. They were my escape from reality. And at that point in time, like, I thought that it was the right thing to do. If I needed to get away, like, I would run away with that person, but then I'd have to come right back to reality once they were gone, and then I'd freak out again until the next time. So that is not healthy, and God does not want us to live like that. God wants us to live a bold life in, like, perfection, because he designed us perfect. His will for us is perfect. He doesn't want us to live a stressful life. The only thing about it is we have to seek him. We have to seek that life that God has designed for us to live. And if you never seek it, then, how could you expect to receive those blessings if you never try to find out what you have to do to get them? So, one thing that I learned on this journey is that if something is missing out of my life, it's nobody else's responsibility to fill that void. It's nobody else's responsibility to make me feel better. It's my responsibility. God gives us all we need. There are tools that God gives us that we are born with so that we can be successful. But we have to develop those tools. We have to meditate. We have to pray. We have to ask God for guidance to lead us to do things to strengthen ourselves so that we can be the best version of ourselves. That's our job. It's not anybody else's job. And as beautiful as a twin flame relationship is, and as beautiful as it is to have a soulmate, they cannot be your escape. You have to do the work yourself, or else you will run that person away, and they're not going to come back until you fix it. And even sometimes after you fix it, it's not really guaranteed, I guess, if they come back. But the whole point is you have to become a whole you. You have to do the work yourself. So, wholeness, let's get to it. The definition of wholeness, according to Merriam-Webster, is the quality or state of being without restriction, exception, or qualification. The definition of whole is also containing all components, complete, not divided or disjoined, not wounded, not injured, or impaired. This is pretty big. It reminds me of this song that I sang in the choir, and I really like singing the song, but there was a part, you know how there's like a little commentary in the middle of the song. I always get so nervous and embarrassed when this part comes up. And the name of the song is Complete. And the lady in the song, she starts going something like, there was a time when I felt like I needed a man to validate me. But I didn't. All I needed was Jesus. And it made me so nervous. So, like, that's not even something I would say. So then I was trying to come up with, like, my version of it, and it just would not work. It's just not something I would say. Like, I wish I had time to think of something that was really clever before the song started. But every time, like, the musicians start to play the song, like, it be catching me off guard. So then I have to sit there and pretend that I agree with this. Anyway, the whole purpose of that is because I had not experienced wholeness, it just made it even harder. So wholeness is being complete in yourself, not being injured. I love how they use more than just saying like wholeness, like a puzzle put together, or being put together is not just the only way that you can express being complete. Complete is not harmed and not injured. That means you have to heal. I love that, because you can be a whole person and still have issues buried and covered up that you tried to hide. But those are flaws that you got to work on. Those got to be healed too in order for you to be whole, because later they just come out as insecurities, and that's not healthy for your relationship. So the purpose of our life journey, and this is everybody, this is not just twin flames, this is for everybody. The purpose of our life journey is to become whole, so that you can live in the greatness that God designed us to live in. You want to live the best life possible. Like, who wants to live a mediocre life? Who's happy like that? You want to be happy. You want to live the best life you possibly can, like we all do. And God gives us all the opportunity to be whole. He wants us all to be whole. The blessings are there. We just have to find them. And the reason why God gives us these trials and tribulations is because sometimes we don't appreciate things when they're just given to us. And it's not that He's trying to punish or torment us. He wants us to learn the lesson so that it's in our hearts, and so that we can share it with other people. We can share these experiences and say, hey, I've been through this. You know, my experience qualifies me in a position to teach you all about this, because this is what I went through. This is my testimony. So, going back to the twin flame world, our soul mission, or at least a huge part of it, because I believe that you can be put on earth to do multiple missions. He can use all of us for different things. But a huge part of our soul mission, especially as twin flames, is to show unconditional love. That's why this journey is so hard, because unconditional love as we know it is not unconditional love, and you have to learn how to love unconditionally. It's a process you have to learn, because we're conditioned, you know, just through life in general. The way we're treated conditions us differently. Unconditional love, we have to practice to get back to our original state to love, because it's been tainted. People have done things that have scarred us. So we have to learn to forgive. We have to learn how to heal. We have to learn how to be whole so that we can love others unconditionally. And as a twin flame, your mission is to show the world how to give unconditional love. And you and your mate will exhibit unconditional love. Like, you are chosen for that purpose. Your relationship, your marriage is chosen to show the world how to love unconditionally. So with that said, love is not a feeling. No, love is not just a feeling. Like Kendrick Lamar said, love is not just a feeling. It's you looking in the mirror. You have to love yourself. Love is not just a feeling. It's an act. You have to love. You have to do love. You have to be love. Love is who you are. Love is what you do. So, that's one of the things that attracted me to my twin too. I met him, and then I got to know him after I met him. So it wasn't like I just kind of seen him like love at first sight. I had to learn about him. And what I learned about him was that he loves pretty much the same way I do. Sometimes you love to the point where people use that as a weakness. And I don't know, it was just when I noticed that he overextends himself the same way that I do, it was just, that was the mirroring. Like, I seen myself in the way that he loves, and that attracted me so much to him, because I was like, I do the same thing. But the thing about it is, it's not healthy to overextend yourself to others if they're not reciprocating that same love back to you, or if you're hurting yourself. Because sometimes you won't have that same love reciprocated, and that's all right. We gotta love everybody the same. But if somebody is abusing you, then that's not self-respect for you to allow that to continue to go on. If you're willingly overextending yourself and that person is constantly taking, you'll be depleted before you can even finish your mission. The ways that I used to think that you can love someone unconditionally. I used to think that loving unconditionally was attempting to meet all of my partner's needs. That's not possible. I used to think that loving unconditionally meant to try to read their minds and fulfill all their needs before they even have to ask. Not possible. I used to think that unconditional love was accepting and overlooking bad behaviors and actions, no matter how selfish or demanding that person's actions and behaviors were. That's not unconditional love. Reason being, it wasn't showing me respect. So, that's how I learned that what I thought was unconditional love was not actually unconditional love. It was codependent love. I was expecting approval from somebody, which I don't need approval from anybody. I get my approval from God. I don't need a man telling me that I'm doing something right or I'm not. Like, love is what I do. I do love. I'm loved unapologetically. I say that all the time. Love is what I do. So if I have to try to beg for somebody's approval, like, nah, it's not going to work. And that's something that I had to grow to understand. It wasn't just something that that I was always doing. Like, I just kind of took this approach. For years, I've let people walk all over me. I didn't understand that that's what I was doing at the time. I thought I was showing them unconditional love, but it wasn't healthy. And it hurt me in return. Like, every single time, I ended up heartbroken because of this. So, unconditional love is not a lack of self-respect. And a lack of self-respect is a dishonor to your partner. If you don't respect yourself, you don't respect them or your relationship. You have to love yourself first. And this is where it kind of got tricky for me, because I see all the memes and stuff that people post on Facebook about loving yourself. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I love myself. But there are other parts of ourselves that we disregard for these relationships that we put ourselves in. And those are the parts of yourself that you have to love. And those are the parts of yourself that you have to honor. The parts that you put down to try to appease somebody else. You don't need their approval. You're you. You are unique. You are loved. You're worthy. You don't need anybody's approval to be yourself. You don't need anybody to approve of your love. Like, your love is needed. If that person doesn't want to respect you, take your love somewhere else. That's loving yourself first. So, real self-love starts within. It does not mean that along the way you won't need additional love and support. That's not what loving yourself means, that you can't have somebody else loving you. God made Adam and Eve. God made Eve because he didn't want Adam to be alone in the Bible. So it's not right for man to be alone. Like, I want to give you this love. I want to give you somebody. That's the same thing for us. He does not desire for us to be alone. And I know sometimes it can feel like that, especially in this twin flame journey, when we're in separation. We're like, God, I'm alone. I'm hurting. All I need is a hug. Like, then I just get a simple hug. Like, that is not, you don't need it from that person. You can go get a hug. You can get a hug anywhere. But you do not need to be codependent on your partner to make you happy, to make you feel whole. But in order to show respect to yourself, you have to actually like yourself. So this is why it's good to practice affirmations every day and to remind yourself of your beautiful qualities, because we all have unique qualities that make us beautiful. I make sure I do this with my children every day. I affirm my son. I tell him, you have these talents. God made you special because you can do this. I tell the same thing over my God. I say, God made you special. You can do this. And anytime they show me anything, that might be really small, it might just be a paper from work they're really proud of, or when they get a green color in school, I make sure that I always celebrate my children, because that's something that they're going to grow up with. That builds their esteem when you celebrate them, because we are to be celebrated. As adults, it kind of hurts me when people don't want to celebrate, because it's like we are to be celebrated. There's a reason to celebrate. There's a reason to praise. Celebration, some people, I understand you don't like to party and stuff, but there's other ways that you can celebrate somebody. You give them a card, write them a letter. There's various ways that you can celebrate someone's life. You don't have to have a party. It's not about partying, but you should celebrate yourself. And you really should celebrate yourself daily, because you made it through another day. Like, you have made it through some trials and tribulations, and so many times we go through things and we don't celebrate ourselves in the end for overcoming it. So it just becomes another page in the book. That's not healthy. Acknowledge the things that you are worthy of. Acknowledge the times that you should be celebrated. That way you'll learn how to celebrate someone else when you get in a relationship, and it'll be authentic because you celebrate it all the time. And it won't feel as foreign when somebody tries to do something nice for you, because it's out of the kindness of their heart. You have to be able to accept love too, not just give love. You have to be able to accept it. That's a part. It's give and take. It's reciprocity. It goes both ways. You love, you get love. You shouldn't be the only one giving love. And that was something I had to learn. Because a lot of times I find myself giving love and giving love and giving love and getting hurt, but still giving love. It's not going to work. At what point are you going to respect yourself? You are lovable and you're worthy regardless of your perceived flaws and of your past mistakes. You are. You're worthy of love. Now, when you are with your partner, you do love them for who they are, because they're very unique. We're all created unique. And they are not going to be perfect. They're not perfect either. So you have to accept them for who they are. That means their past, their future. Everybody makes mistakes. But unconditional love is not, it's not judgmental. You don't say, I'm gonna love the beautiful parts of you, but the parts of you that aren't so good, I don't know. I think I talked about this before, about how I'm the good twin and my twin is the bad twin. Yep, that's him. It's me. Because my twin, he doesn't mind doing things to get himself in trouble, and I am so afraid of consequences. I will not, if I see a cop, I'm gonna slow down. I'm not a daredevil. I'm not about to try to do nothing to get myself in trouble. None of that. But my twin, he doesn't mind wilding out. That's what I call it. It's wilding out. And I'll be like, you need to calm down. Our first date, I'm trying to tell you, he almost got locked up. And if I wasn't there, he would have got locked up. But I love him regardless. That didn't make me feel anything less about him. Of course, we had to have a conversation, and I set that boundary. You can't do that. First of all, I work in the legal field. What I look like getting married to somebody who can't stay out of trouble, it's not gonna work. So that was a boundary that I actually set, and I'm proud of myself. I'm going to go celebrate myself for that because I never gave myself credit for it, but I actually did set that boundary. Like, look, I know you like to live on the wild side, but you have to chill. Like, if you care about me and if you respect my job, like, you have to chill. And he did. Like, for a while, he did not get in trouble. And he, it was nothing for him to come into contact with the law. Like, that's something he just didn't care about. And I feel like he showed that he respected me by actually trying to chill. Like, he's been chilling. And I'm proud of him. And another thing is you have to embrace their differences because they make up the person you love. You didn't fall in love with the perfect person. So you have to love them for who they are. So I just wanted to give you all that little bit of information on unconditional love and wholeness. And there are days where I really, 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 really miss my twin. And I say, life would be so much better if I could just celebrate my good times with him, go through the hard times together, because we are taught that that's what relationships are for. Like, you go through things together. It's a process, but it's a whole nother thing to go through problems that you both have to face together than to come together when both of you have major issues that you need to work out on your own. Because you will look to that person to try to help you with things that they can't help you with. It's not their job to fix those issues. It's your job. And if you're not strong enough to do the work on your own in a relationship, then please believe your relationship will suffer, and God will cause you to work on it yourself before you can come together with that person. And that's kind of where I'm at now. And even though, like, every couple of days I get weak and I'm like, I can't do this. Truth is, I'm still doing things. Like, I'm doing this on my own. Like, I have been having problems moving out on my own. One, because of fear, because of money before, just a bunch of things that I let make me insecure about moving out on my own. Like, I have these children, I can't be out on the street with my kids. Like, if it was just me, I would roll out in the drop of a dime. But because I have children, I can't take that risk. So I've been afraid. And recently, I just signed a lease. So I'm moving soon, and I'm so happy. And it was like a huge milestone for me. And it made me realize I did this on my own. Like, I was not sitting around like, oh, I can't do this. Like, I need a man for me to move. No. I'm going to do this on my own. And I believe and I have faith that I have all the tools I need to provide for my children. So that when my partner comes along and we do live together, I won't have to rely on that person to get me by. Or I won't have to say, oh, good, now I can do this, this, and this because I have this other person. No. Like, we will have a family together. We will have a house together. We'll have all that. But I can't stop living just because I'm not in union with this person. There is work for me to do. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to be whole. A part of my wholeness is acknowledging that I can do big things on my own. I can put my big girl panties on, and I can get this house, and I can take care of my children in there, and I can do this all by myself. I don't need anybody's help because God gave me all the tools to be successful. That's all I wanted to give y'all on wholeness. I hope that somebody got something from it. Please feel free to post comments or questions or anything. If there's anything you're unclear on, feel free to ask. Peace and love to you all. God bless.
Even though it seems I have everything, I don't wanna be alone. believe I have everything, but I can't pretend it